In this video, we're going to look at setting up the laser cutter. So it's already on. On switch is right in the back here. The computer's connected. I'm in Chrome and I'm already connected via the software. If there's issues there, just hit refresh, or we can type in this number, that IP address that also lives in the bottom corner of the display here. So we'll start over at the cutter, open this up. Generally, we're just doing paper on here. If it's something outside that, make sure you're talking to myself to make sure that it's a laserable material. We do want to make sure that it is focused, though. So we just put it in here. It can really go anywhere. About a 12 by 20 cutting area, but we need to make sure that the laser is the correct distance from the material. Back here in the corner, not next to the spider, is our focusing puck. So what we can do is move the laser over here just by using our XY coordinates, and that focusing puck should fit right underneath the laser. So if we're changing to something different, you can see that small brass set screw. We would loosen that. We can lift the laser up or down, and just make sure whatever we're cutting or engraving is that distance away, that our puck can fit in between the two. So we're good as far as our calibration, our focusing. So we'll just move our laser back and we'll go ahead and close this. When we come over to the software, we have a few options. If we've printed a sheet already and we want to register to that sheet, we might want to start by hitting capture. It's going to say go ahead and put your materials in there. We have already, and hit next. And if we come back over to the device, it's going to go through and take a series of 9 photos and stitch those back together to give us some indication of where we're going to be cutting. So that's going to do that. If we look back over here, you can see it's populating that together as it tiles those photos. And we can see the text on there. This isn't going to be exact for us. You're most likely going to have to do a test print and adjust your die lines just a little bit to get everything lined up. Wonderful. So we'll hit done here. We're ready to bring in our artwork now. So we just need vector information for cutting, raster information for engraving. So I have a file here that I can grab, drop anywhere, asks what I want to import. This is just vector information, so I'm just going to say cut only and continue. Depending on what I'm cutting, I might want to grab from our reference library here as far as what the specs are, the speed, the power, the depth of our cut. Ignore that. That was something just in the iOS. If we grab our element, we can come over here and see what we can change the heat and the depth or change the speed, whatever we need to do to get that to cut. Go ahead and scale it, move it, all that fun stuff. And then we can also rotate it right down here. We can also take a file that has different color die lines. Again, drop anywhere. This is all just cut score stuff, so I'm just going to say cut only. Continue. And when I grab this one, you can see that there's a red that I can leave on cut, and then there's a green that I can change to score. So I can change the settings for each color. It'll give me 2 different variations as far as whatever I want the laser to do. So that's fine. I'm going to delete that one. We're just going to take this and say start. Go ahead and send it over to the cutter. That's going to go through. This is going to come up when it's ready to start. It's giving me 2 errors right now. The first one, the vent fan. That's because I don't have our external vent on yet. So that'll kick on. Wonderful. So cleared our error. It's going to ask if we've adjusted the laser head. We have. the laser is the material is laserable and will stay here, ready to go. Double click. So if we're happy with that, we want to run it again. We could go into job history, and that's going to hold all of our jobs for us. So we can just grab it, hit next, and go through the same safety setups. That's it.